you made mention that your wife is bucking up against you, right? How long has that been?
Ever since got my servant to the truth.
Okay, how long? I don't know.
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half. So a year and a half, she's not doing anything. No commandments?
I finally got her to come out the board. But,
Okay, so she finally, okay, so there's hope. There's hope. Because his, well, a year and a half would just put, I'm just saying, I don't know. But here's the thing. Give me that, is a Sirach, I think it's 33, Ecclesiastes 33, about the preeminence. Preeminence. I think it's chapter, 33:19. Let's get that. I want to show you something.
Sirach.
And then I want Jeremiah 2:44.
Sirach, chapter 33, verse 19.
Bring it out.
Give not thy son and wife, thy brother or friend, power over thee.
God says, you don't give nobody power over you. Nobody. And what does that mean? Don't finish that. Don't lose that. Jeremiah 2:44. What does that mean? What does it mean to give power over you? Let's see what it means.
Go ahead.
Let's see. Read. Jeremiah 2:44. 2:33. Thank you. Woo! See, I'm getting old. Y'all got to help me out.
Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 33.
Bring it out.
Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy way.
So what happens? How do you give someone power over you? You trim your ways, meaning the truth. You trim keeping the commandments in order to get their love.
That's right.
That's right.
You don't ever do that. So here's an example. You say you don't celebrate Christmas, right? Cool. You don't celebrate Christmas, right? She bring that tree in the house and said, listen, this is for the family. We need this, they need this tree. Oh, but that's what you do. But there's some brothers that'll be like, all right, this one last time. This one last time. All right, shoot. I ain't trying to argue with her. Shoot. That's how brothers do. God says, don't trim your ways just to get your son, your daughter, or your wife's love.
That's right.
Don't do it. Don't trim the commandments in order to get love from them. Because read that bottom part again.
Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy way.
So what do? You're actually, instead of teaching the wicked who your family is, because they're not keeping the commandments, instead of you teaching them the right way, you're teaching them the way to be flippity-flop. To be 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Straddling the fence.
Huh?
Straddling the fence.
You got, my man, straddling the fence. You're showing them you can be an Israelite sometimes, but other times when it's convenient for you, you don't have to be. You understand? So go back to that Ecclesiastes 33.
Sirach chapter 33, verse 19.
Bring it out.
Give not thy son and wife, thy brother and friend, power over thee.
Don't give anybody that kind of power where you're ready to break God's laws in order to get love from them. That's giving them power.
Right.
Hell no. Well, you know what that means? That wife, that son, that daughter is now become your God.
That's right.
You understand that, right? Yeah. That's now your God. When you trim your ways to seek their love, you have now put them over God.
That's right.
Well, let's keep reading.
While thou livest, and give not thy goods to another, lest it repent thee, and thou entreat for the same again. As long as thou livest,
as long as you live, while you're breathing,
and hast breath in thee, give not thyself over to any. For better it is that thy children should seek to thee.
So now it says, don't give yourself over to any, meaning they are now your God. Never do that. He says, because if your children don't agree, it's better for you to step away and let them what?
Then that thou shouldest stand to their courtesy. I'm sorry. Verse 21. For better is it that thy children should seek to thee.
It's better for your children to come and find you.
That's right.
So remember, we read earlier, you're going to be hated for Christ's sake. For teaching what? For teaching the commandments, for keeping the commandments. You're going to be hated. That hatred may come from your children.
Right.
God says it's better if those children that you love so much you were to step away. Because it's all for the truth's sake. It's not because you want to chase women. It's not because you got another family somewhere else.
Right.
It's because they hate you. They hate you for Christ's sake.
That's right.
God says it's better for them to come and find you.
Bring it out.
Because they'll see, you know what, Dad? Mama is wicked. You showed me where it says we can't celebrate Christmas, and she keep trying to push Christmas on us. I see what you've been saying all this time.
Right.
I believe that Christ is a black man.
That's
I believe that you are a prophet of God.
That's right.
Can I come and live with you?
See?
It says it's better for you to do that than for you to say, okay, I'll keep Christmas with you because it makes you happy.
Bring it out.
God says it's better for them to come find you to keep the commandments rather than you break the commandments to show your love to them.
That's right.
Hell no. Because guess what? In all honesty, if they leave, you can make more. You can make more children.
That's right.
A man can make children up until the point he dropped dead.
Do it. Bring it out.
Y'all know that, right? If you are 75 years old, there's still oil in your tank.
Right.
And you can have children.
Right.
That's why I understand that whole black woman is God stuff. Because once they get menopause, they can't have kids anymore.
That's right.
But you, a son of God, can have children. There has been corpses that recently passed away that the doctors hurried and extracted their sperm in order to impregnate their wife.
I didn't think that they actually did
I'm
that.
trying to... It's wicked, but what I'm saying is there's always life in you.
Yeah, it's gonna
Now the
always
question is, what you going to do with that life? Let me have Psalm 78. Psalms chapter 78, and I think I want verse 3. I'm going to give it back to the brother. I've been teaching for a minute now. Psalm 78. Psalm 78, and I think it's verse... start at verse 3, yep.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 78, verse 3.
Bring it out.
Which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us.
Verse 2.
Verse 2. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old.
So God said he's going to open his mouth in a parable. That's why Christ spoke in parables. He opened his mouth in a parable, and he will utter dark sayings, meaning things that's not easily understood. You see how we read the commandment about the bald head and you got it that way? Some commandments you got to go a little bit deeper. You understand? Read.
Which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children.
Wait. The life that's in you, what are we not supposed to do?
We will not hide them from their children.
So what you learned, you're commanded to teach your children.
That's right. Do it.
You understand that, right? You're commanded. You got to be a light. Listen, look how dark this place is. Now, I know the sun is out right now and it looks lit. But when you think about it, when you count up all the evil that go on here, this is a very, very dark place.
That's right.
Right now, there's sisters online to get an abortion. Right now.
Right.
I'm sure. Right now, there's brothers in the house plotting on who to rob tonight.
That's
Bring
right.
it out.
Right now, there's a brother plotting to sleep with another brother's wife.
Bring it out.
Right now. This is a dark, dark place. So your job to add any life to this place or life to your people, you got to teach your children.
Bring it
That's
out.
right.
Read.
Showing to the generations to come the praises of the Lord.
So it says you got to show the generations to come the praises of the Lord. Guess what? In your loins is the generations to come.
That's right.
You got life in you right now.
See?
So before you create life, you got to start thinking about what you're going to do with the life before I create it.
That's right.
What you going to do? We don't think that far ahead. There's a study that was done that said black people only think 5 minutes in the future.
Bring it out.
And I don't disagree. Because when you think about it, what this is saying is you got to think at least 10 months in advance.
Bring it out.
That's right.
At minimum 10 months in advance. Before the life is created, then you got what? 9 months of her carrying that baby. Makes sense, right? God says you got to think about the generations to come.
That's right.
Go ahead.
And his strength and his wonderful works that he have done. Verse 5. For he established a testimony in Jacob
Jacob, keep reading, matter of fact.
and appointed a law in Israel.
No, the law was given to everybody.
A law in Israel.
God's laws was only given to us.
That's right.
That's
right.
it. So back to your original question, where are some of the laws? Go back to Exodus 20.
I got one more question. is there a certain amount of laws that we need to follow like every day?
Yes. The only thing we're not following is the laws that deal with the Levitical priesthood or the Levitical ordinance.
That's right.
That's the laws of animal sacrifice, right? You're an animal sacrifice, right? So that has to do with the Levitical priesthood, because when you read Hebrews chapter 7, 8, and 9, Christ replaced that priesthood. He is now the high priest. That's why we don't have to sacrifice animals anymore, because he is the ultimate sacrifice. Make sense? So everything outside of that, because the bald head has nothing to do with the Levitical priesthood. In chapter 21 and 5 that we read, he was talking to the Levites, but it was actually originally in chapter 19 where he was talking to all Israel. So Israel was given a commandment not to bald their heads and shave off their beards. Make sense? Then the Levites, for purification's sake, were given certain laws as well. Make sense? Go ahead. 20 and 8.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
So now, Scripture said one of the other commandments, we're in Exodus now. Remember I said we're going to jump around? We went to Genesis, showing you're supposed to be ruling over your household, right? We went to Leviticus, showing the head. Now we're in Exodus. Exodus said to remember the Sabbath day. Why would God have to tell us to remember the Sabbath? Okay, we're supposed to keep it holy. But why did he say remember?
Because that's the day we're supposed to give praise.
Okay.
We're not supposed to work.
It's a rest day. You're telling me what it is. I'm asking, why did he say remember?
Most people will probably forget.
Say that again?
Most people will probably forget.
Oh, my man. See how simple that is? Most people would probably forget.
That's right.
Because you got to remember, this is when we came out of Egypt.
Right.
What did God tell us about what we did in Egypt?
Shave our heads.
You know what I'm saying? He said what? Don't do it
Don't do
anymore.
what they do. Yeah.
Right? Because in Egypt, we had 10 days of the week. In Egypt, we had different gods. We had 365 gods that we worshipped in Egypt. So God is saying, all that stuff we did in Egypt, don't do it anymore.
That's right.
Just like modern day Egypt, modern day Babylon, they're going to give you things that's going to cause you to forget.
That's right.
The same way that we had 365 gods back then, we probably got about 10,000 now. About 10,000, easy. When you see the brothers set up their car washing stations, detailing cars on the Sabbath day, that's their God.
That's right.
Because it's the Lord's Sabbath day. Today's the Lord's Sabbath day. Our brothers and sisters working on the Lord's Sabbath day, that's your God.
That's right.
And this is a harsh reality that we have to come to say, do I love God more than I love this job? You got to think about this. Most people, all you have to do is go and talk to your boss.
Teach.
And tell them, because of my religious beliefs or my beliefs, I can't work on Saturdays anymore.
That's right.
I'm willing to work any other schedule so that we don't, affect or harm the company. That's my last intent. But I need this day off. It says in Nehemiah chapter 2 and chapter 4 about making a request. Make a request. That boss may say, you know what? You're a good employee. I don't want to lose you. I'll give you Saturday off. But you got to come to work late Saturday night, work overnight shift. Guess what? At sundown Saturday, the Sabbath is over. So you can work that shift. But a lot of us don't want to be inconvenienced. So we got to think, do we want to be convenienced or be condemned?
Teach.
That's right.
Breaking the Sabbath, judgment comes with that.
Bring it out.
We understand that, right? So keep reading though, from the top.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
So now, 6 days we should work, but not on the 7th day, because that's the day of rest. It's also a day of holy convocation. So the same way we gather on Sundays for church, that gathering should be happening when? On the Saturday, the Sabbath day. So our school in Riverdale, we gather on Saturday, the Sabbath. That's the Lord's Sabbath day. That's when that's supposed to happen, not on Sunday. Sunday is the first day of the week. When you look at your calendar, the first day is what on that? So it's Sunday. It's Sunday. So God is talking about the 7th day, which is what? The day before that. which is Saturday. That's when the Lord's Sabbath day is. Keep reading.
In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy maidservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all them, and all that in them is.
So the Lord made everything in 6 days. Rested on the Sabbath. Give me Leviticus 23. Showing that the Sabbath day is a holy convocation, right? So the first part is remember the Sabbath. Now you know Saturday. So it actually begins Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. That's the Sabbath day. Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. So now, knowing that part, you're remembering the Sabbath. Now, the Lord is going into how you keep the Sabbath holy. There's no working on the Sabbath day. You can't, if you're a business owner, you can't tell your kids to go run the business while you have it off. It says you, your sons, your daughters, your maidservant, you can't, guess what? If you're rich, you got to give your butlers and maids the day off. Yes.
Are you not supposed to spend money on the day as well?
I like that. This brother, let's get that in Nehemiah. Nehemiah is a 10. Nehemiah chapter 10, verse 31. Because you at, man, give me some, bro. This brother, y'all on it, man. Y'all on it. So he says, are we not supposed to spend money? Because, like you made mention, there should be no, so this business should be shut down. Friday is called the day of preparation, according to the Bible. So you prepare all that you need for the Sabbath. You prepare. McDonald's should be shut down. Family Dollar should be shut down. Yeah, not your job? Well, you want to hear what God said, sister? Listen, this is why we suffer as a people. God says not to work on the Sabbath, and you say, not my job.
Bring it out.
That's why we got to work at McDonald's. That's why we got to work at Family Dollar, because we refuse to do what God says.
That's right.
Shut down McDonald's, man, on the Lord's Sabbath day. One day ain't going to kill you. Damn. We some rebellious people, man. Go ahead, read.
Nehemiah,
She about to make camp change real quick, man. Go ahead.
chapter 10, verse 31.
Well,
And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day.
So if the people of the land bring ware, clothing, or any victuals, food, right? Includes who? McDonald's, right? Go ahead.
To sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath.
I can't spend my money on Saturday.
Does that answer your question? Answer your question, right? There is no buying or selling on the Lord's Sabbath day. Guess what? One day ain't going to kill you.
You're absolutely right about that.
One day is not going to kill you. That one day, you're reverencing God.
that's right.
One day. The Lord, you would think the Lord is asking a hard thing from his people.
Bring it out.
You know what's so funny? Is Chick-fil-A open on Sundays?
Nope.
Bring it out. Bring it out.
But that's the God that they're believing.
You see the
I
point?
totally over.
So here it is. The white man that does not have the truth has enough wisdom to shut down his business on the day that he deems to be holy.
Bring it out.
But we read, he's the God of Israel.
Bring it out.
He's only given his word to Israel.
That's right.
But Israel is like, no, keep it open.
Bring it out. Bring it out.
You gotta be kidding me. The white man that started Chick-fil-A, and then you can buy the franchise. You can buy a Chick-fil-A, you know that, right? It's a franchise like McDonald's. If you buy it, you have to abide by closing down on Sunday.
Bring it out.
Otherwise, they take the franchise from you. Yeah, yes, he said, for real? This is why no matter where you go, you see all Chick-fil-A's are closed. No matter where you go. There's a sister, I forgot her name, she's young, she's like 27. She's buying her third Chick-fil-A. It's a sister. But the point is, her being the children of Israel, she has to abide by Chick-fil-A's guidelines and shut the hell down.
Bring it out.
But yet, she's open on Saturdays, causing her people to sin.
Right. Bring it out.
Woo! You see how backwards we are?
Very.
We're backwards. What we see right now, the only place anybody should be going is to go worship the Lord.
That's right.
Read that. Was that it? Leviticus 23 now.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel.
So is this talking to everybody?
Only to the children.
You see how no matter how many times you read it, both Old and New Testament, God's only talking to the children of Israel. This is why when people say, oh, he's for everybody, but damn near every chapter I read, it starts off with the children of Israel.
That's right.
Even the New Testament. Matter of fact, hold on. Matthew 2 and 6. So this is New Testament, right? This is Jesus going to be speaking in a second. Read that.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 6. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor.
So out of Bethlehem came who? Huh? Jesus, right? He says, so out of Bethlehem shall come a governor, right? A governor, go ahead.
That shall rule my people.
Who?
My people, Israel.
This is in the New Testament. Y'all understand that? So you'll read Israel or children of Israel over and over and over and then have the nerve to say he's dealing with everybody. We crazy. Oh, hell, man. We crazy. We are crazy, crazy people. But go back.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation.
Which means holy gatherings.
That's right.
Like how we have church. So the Sabbath day is a holy gathering. Go ahead.
Even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest.
So on the Sabbath of rest, it's also a holy convocation.
That's right.
Which means y'all should be like, hey, bro, give me the address to that school, man. I want to come and keep the Sabbath day.
Right.
Guess what? If your wife don't want to go, you come without her.
Right.
Huh?
I will.
My mellow mom, he said, I will. All right, from your lips to God's ears. But here's the thing. We don't let the woman dictate how we move when it comes to God.
That's right.
When it comes to God, that goes back to giving them power. Oh, because my wife don't want to go, we can't come. What the hell you mean we? We wasn't born together. We ain't going to die together. God is just, give me that Philippians 2 and 12. Sir, seek out your own salvation. Is that it? 2 and 12? Yeah, that's it.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation.
Work out what?
Your own salvation.
You have to work out your own salvation.
That's right.
Here's the thing. Your salvation is not depending on her. Hers is depending on you.
That's right.
We just read in Genesis, remember, you shall rule over her. Remember we read that? So guess what? Her salvation is going to come through you.
That's right.
She don't understand that yet. This is why we're out here teaching. This is why you got to come and learn. You have to come and learn. Because finish reading that real quick.
But now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Your salvation is not contingent upon her or your children.
That's right.
If they don't want to come and learn how to be sons and daughters of God, well then let the world give them over to Satan then.
That's right.
That's what Paul did. Paul gave some over to Satan because they chose to break the commandments rather than keep it. You have mercy trying to show them, have patience. I'm not saying as soon as you hear this truth. That's what our elder men are doing. They're riding around in toy cars on the Sabbath day, playing wicked ass music and got the Cowboys painted all over it. You see, this is what our older men have done. They failed us, so now we're failing the next generation. At what point is it going to stop? So back to my point. You have to work out your own salvation. What was your name again? Richard. what you do is not contingent upon your wife. I'm not saying that it is, but I want to drive that point home. What's your name, bro? Michael, same thing. Nothing you do is dictated by anyone other than God.
That's right.
Even the way we follow the laws of the land. Why do we follow the laws of the land? Because God says so. Right? Sister right here, keep the Sabbath day holy. No working, no buying, no selling, no cooking. Let's get back to that. We on the Sabbath. Get to the cooking in Nehemiah. Exodus. Come here, sis. Come here. Oh, so you don't want to hear what God has to say. Hey, you going to church tomorrow, sister? Yeah, I know you're going to church tomorrow. So your pastor can lie to you.
That's right.
The Christian pastor is a damn liar.
Right.
If anybody believes different, come plead your cause.
That's right.
Defend the gospel.
Teach.
Teach us something we don't know. Come on, sister.
That's what I'm
talking about, auntie. Come on around here, auntie. Come on. I'm calling you auntie. Yeah, the Christian pastor a liar. Can we? We're gonna read it. We're gonna read it. We're gonna read it. Give me that dumb dogs. Isaiah 56 and 10. Isaiah 56 and 10. Let's read it. Hey, turn the speaker around. I want auntie to hear it as she walk away. Go ahead. Isaiah 56 and 10.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 56, verse 10. His watchmen are blind.
So your pastor's blind.
They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs.
What does God call them? Look at Michael. Michael ain't never heard that verse before. God says your pastor's a dumb dog.
Where is that? What verse?
They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Yea, they are greedy dogs.
They're what?
Greedy dogs.
God says the pastor's a greedy dog.
Yes.
Read.
Which can never have enough.
Which can what?
Never have enough.
Go ahead.
And they are shepherds that cannot understand.
They don't understand the word of God.
Right.
You understand that, Michael? Auntie, I hope you got that as you go into Captain D's
That's
on the
right.
Lord's Sabbath day.
Isaiah 56 and 10, right?
Isaiah 56 and 10. From the top again.
Yea, they
Love that.
Auntie turning back around. Auntie coming back. Uh-oh. Go ahead. Auntie giving the middle finger. Is that who raised you? You know who she raised? She raised all you city girls.
That's right.
She taught y'all it's a hot girl summer.
Whoa.
That's what Auntie taught y'all sisters. Y'all should all be ashamed of Auntie.
That's
that
right.
said she's going to work on the Lord's Sabbath day. That defended her wicked pastor.
right.
And giving a middle finger to the prophets of God.
That's
We're the
right.
prophets of God out here.
That's right.
We ain't gonna play no games with y'all.
Right.